Good evening. Andy Stevens coming at you with Module 12, Tort Law and Tort Liability. Torts are defined by the Babcock Law Firm here in Denver, Colorado, as legal situations where an individual can be held liable for an injury that is inflicted upon another person through your actions. Tort law cases also involve the injured party usually seeking some sort of compensation for damages that can include things like property loss, physical harm, pain and suffering, emotional distress, things of that nature. The 5 cases that I chose to review I found to be very enlightening. Case number 1 involved students in the Vietnam War era who wanted to wear black armbands to school in protest of the war. And this is stuff that I see every single day at the high school that I teach at. Students constantly challenging the dress code, questioning why their rights are being violated, without really thinking about how building leaders are trying to create an environment that is free of any sort of distractions or offensive clothing or language. I think a great way to prevent torts like this from happening would be to simply communicate to students why a dress code is necessary and how we are trying to prevent any sort of liability or any sort of students feeling any sort of injury based on someone else's dress. So, as far as my ethics are concerned and how they're beneficial towards tort liability, I feel like professional ethics really are essential because they guide our behavior and they really help us differentiate right from wrong. And obviously, when making the right choices, we are able to avoid tort and tort liability. The next case that I reviewed involved teenagers that were smoking in a high school bathroom. And when they got caught, they were taken to the administrator's office and they had their property illegally searched. And so the parents of those students filed a lawsuit against the school district. I see this happen all the time at my school as well, more with vaping and e-cigarettes. And really what it's led to is at my school, they no longer allow student bathrooms to have a closed door. Doors in the bathrooms have to be open at all times. Proactively speaking, I think it's important that we communicate with students again about the harmful nature of vaping and e-cigarettes and really try to use some sort of education to help students realize how damaging those actions are. And again, professional ethics just help us differentiate right from wrong and avoid those liability issues. The third case that I researched involved 2 students that were involved in horseplay while a teacher had left the room. And unfortunately, one of those students ended up dying due to that horseplay. They broke their collarbone, and that collarbone led to a lacerated blood vessel that in turn led to the student dying. So I think retroactively at my school, I could see the administration, adjusting their paradigm to the point where teachers would no longer be allowed to leave the room without having certified coverage in place. I think proactively it's important that we understand and reinforce the reasons why we're at school. We're there to learn. We're there to develop knowledge and leadership skills. We are not there to mess around, have horseplay, things of that nature. And again, I'm a big believer in positive reinforcement. So I think it's essential if you want to change that behavior to do so in a positive way. And again, as we've talked about professional ethics, really just stressing the importance of how those help us avoid those tort liabilities. The fourth case that I looked at involved a similar instance to the third case. A gym teacher had left the gymnasium during PE in order to go talk to a colleague. And 2 students ended up getting in a fight. I know at my school, anytime there's a fight, it results in automatic discipline issues. Sorry, I'm having a little computer problem here. Usually either in or out of school suspension. And I think it's more important that we really talk to high school students about how to express their feelings, how to have confrontation without resorting to violence. And I think when we can help students get a better understanding of that emotional intelligence, we can really reduce the number of violent acts on campus. And then again, looking at ethics, not only as the teacher and understanding the right from wrong, but also students and really questioning in their ethics is violence something that they feel is okay. The last case that I looked at involved a young boy who was at a summer school class, left the class early, and unfortunately ended up getting struck by a motorcycle as he was crossing the street. Again, I apologize for my computer acting up here. Anyways, this young man was crossing the street and was struck by a motorcycle. And the mother of the young boy also sued the district, not only for her son, but because she suffered great emotional distress when she got to the hospital to see her son. Obviously, I think if this happened in my school, I think we'd see some pretty rigid rules around early dismissal. I know I'm guilty of this as a teacher at times. I let my students go a minute or two early just to make sure that I have time to get to my next class or do something that I need to do. Proactively, I think we need to train teachers about the liabilities associated with letting students go early, and also making sure that teachers understand how they would be liable in this case. And then again, with our ethics, just understanding how, that making the right choice and the ethical choice can reduce our exposure to liability. So those are my 5 cases. If you'd like some more information, here are the references that I used, some of the different cases and such. I hope everybody's had a great day. And again, thanks for your patience with some of my technical issues this evening. Have a good night. Bye-bye.